Hello folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. I hope everyone's doing well and having a good day wherever in the world you are. Now, last week Tyson Fury released on his social media a video of him walking down the tunnel at Old Trafford, which is the home of Manchester United Football Club, of which apparently he's a big supporter. And above it were the words, do you miss me? Which people could construe as being a tease about him coming back to boxing. It could also be something to do with Soccer Aid, an organization that he also supports. So I didn't put a video up about that because, well, quite frankly, I'm not really into pandering to every Tyson Fury release, especially as you can get whiplash doing so. He's a he's a master of keeping the boxing world and all his fans sort of on the hop, saying one thing one day and another thing another day. He is he missed? Oh, well, I mean, it depends on who you ask, right? For someone like myself, I'm in two minds. I'm not a Tyson Fury fan. If you've watched this channel, you'll know that. In fact, I'm sort of, really not a supporter of him at all. I recognize that he has got skills, of course, but I don't like a lot of what he says. So I'm not a fan. Having said that, though, he is undoubtedly a character or characters. And boxing needs sometimes one of those somewhat polarizing characters to draw people into the sport, to put eyeballs on the sport that otherwise wouldn't be watching. I mean, for hardcore fans or for really keen casuals, a guy like Joseph Parker or Daniel Dubois or KABAYEL, that's more than enough. People who do the business in the ring, who don't say too much out of the ring, who don't dress up in funny clothes, who comport themselves quietly and respectfully, that's more than enough. But for many people, they like to see somebody more exciting. Even if they get angry at that person, they are still excited enough to watch them. There's an old saying, all publicity is good publicity. I mean, people possibly watch Tyson Fury fights in the hope that Tyson Fury's going to get flattened. It's a way of attracting people to the sport. And it's been like that for a very long time. One of the masters of that was, of course, Muhammad Ali. In the 1960s, people booed and hated Ali. Likewise, when he first came back. And then, of course, he became a beloved public figure. It's sport, but it's also entertainment. And so from the showmanship perspective, people probably do miss Tyson Fury. Anyhow, will he come back or not remains a question. And for every person who says, I don't care, there's somebody else who will say, I do care. And they care whether they want him back or not. They are passionate about him. And he has absolutely legions of supporters. I mean, his fan base is very, very loyal. Anybody who's ever engaged in a comment section on a YouTube video with a Fury fan will appreciate how passionate they are about Tyson Fury. His story, his fights, his recovery from addiction, his comebacks, etc., so forth. Now, an extra log, if you like, has been put on the fire of whether or not Tyson Fury will return, because Mauricio Suleiman has said that should he return, the WBC would support he and KABAYEL fighting for the WBC INTERIM belt. And then the winner of that would, of course, be next in line to fight Alexander Usyk for the main belt. I was going to say the real belt. As you know, the interim belt business kind of leaves me cold. It's worth looking at the words that Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the WBC, says. WBC President Mauricio Suleiman told Sky Sports, and I'm going to be quoting from the Sky Sports report, "We have been very flexible and supportive of the undisputed concept. We fought very hard to get to undisputed at heavyweight, and we did not impose a mandatory on Fury in order to allow him to fight Usyk. And we made it clear that the winner would do the rematch without any mandatory." And that's true. Mauricio Suleiman continued, "The winner of Jean KABAYEL is of the highest level, but also we are supporting undisputed again, because how can you see Usyk lose a belt? That was horrible. Now they might fight again for undisputed with Daniel Dubois. We will see. We're not going to push anything." And there, of course, he's referring to how the IBF ordered Usyk that he had to either defend his IBF belt or relinquish it, or they would strip him if he went ahead and fought Tyson Fury for the rematch. So we were left with that bizarre situation where Alexander Usyk was undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The IBF mandatory was Daniel Dubois, a man he'd just beaten, but he had to give up that belt or fight Daniel Dubois a second time, or fight Tyson Fury in the rematch. Well, obviously, Alexander Usyk took the belt off and said, "There you go, it's my gift to you." And then he gave that belt back to the IBF, who awarded it to Daniel Dubois, who defended it very successfully against Anthony Joshua. And then Usyk went on and fought Tyson Fury in the rematch, which of course wasn't for undisputed. So in the minds of many of us, myself included, Alexander Usyk is undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, but in reality, he isn't. He has 3 of the 4 belts. The other belt is held by Daniel Dubois, the IBF heavyweight champion of the world. So, excuse me. Suleiman believes holding the interim heavyweight belts could lead KABAYEL to major fights, and he suggested Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, or Fury if he decides to reverse his retirement. In other words, if Fury wants to come back. And he went on to say, "We will support an undisputed heavyweight title fight, and we will assess what is happening, what is the best scenario. KABAYEL has the WBC interim championship that he can defend. There's other big fights like Joshua, Wilder, or eventually even Fury. So many other possible great fights. Joshua, he's highly ranked in the WBC. He's a legendary champion, and we will support him, of course. Now, Joshua is number 2 in the WBC ratings. So we've got Usyk, the real belt holder, KABAYEL, an interim belt holder. Number 1 contender is Lawrence Okolie. I know it makes our heads spin, but it's because he was the Bridgerweight champion, so he's slotted in there. And then number 2 contender is Anthony Joshua. I do find the use of the word legendary champion to be a little bit over the top. As you know, I like doing historical videos about legendary champions. I like Anthony Joshua, but even at my most charitable, I couldn't call him a legendary champion. Anyhow, regardless, Mauricio Suleiman went on to say, "We are absolutely in support of just making sure that the best fights can happen." That is music to my ears. I have to say that those words haven't always matched historical reality, but onwards and upwards, right? And let me see. Suleiman continued. He, speaking about Fury, retired, as you may recall. And the WBC supported him to fight Wilder the first time, and he made a hell of a fight. It was a draw that led on to 2 great additional matches with Wilder. Then to see what we've seen in the past 3 or 4 years, and now it's a dream coming true what is happening in boxing. I spoke to him, this is Fury. He told me he's retired, and I congratulated him. You go out and you have a beautiful family, you're a multimillionaire. But boxers have something. It is very difficult to step aside, but I'm happy he's retired. If he's to change his mind and give it a try, I'm sure the medicals will be good. The option is open. So, yes, Suleiman is happy he's retired. Yes, Suleiman recognizes that boxers invariably like to come back. And he is open to endorsing Fury fighting KABAYEL for the interim belt, which would then put him in position to fight Usyk. So if we game this through, so if Fury comes back, he would need, say he came back next week. He gets 3 months or 4 months to get ready for KABAYEL. If he beats KABAYEL, which is by no means a foregone conclusion, he would then want maybe 9 months to prepare, to recover and to prepare, etc. for Usyk. So that's another year, say a year from today. So we would be looking at March, April 2026 to fight Usyk. Now, in the meanwhile, Usyk would have to fight Dubois and beat Dubois, no means a foregone conclusion, to get the IBF belt back so that Fury and Usyk could fight for undisputed in say middle of 2026. I think it's an interesting scenario, but of course there's lots of ifs, ands and buts involved. If Fury comes back and if he fights Ajit KABAYEL, he would actually go up in my estimation. I would consider the KABAYEL fight to be a serious fight, a big fight, a legitimate top contender to fight, and I would take my hat off to Tyson Fury for doing that. I think it's more likely that if Tyson Fury comes back, he will take the most obvious fight that people are talking about, which is against Anthony Joshua. A fight that, of course, I'll watch it. I'm not super keen on it. It's past its best before date or its sell-by date. But it would put a period at the end of the sentence. It probably won't satisfy anybody. The Anthony Joshua fans, should Anthony Joshua lose, will say that, oh, well, if it had been AJ in his prime. And if Fury should lose, the Fury fans will say, oh, well, if Fury had been in his prime. It probably won't satisfy either camp, but at least for us who are a little bit more neutral or objective, it will put a period at the end of the sentence and say that, you know, as of whatever date, this man was better than that man. And it would probably be a 2-fight deal, and they would both make an absolute shebang load of money. You know, that's probably what will happen. I would be keener, of course, on seeing Fury fight KABAYEL. It would add, in my view, to his legacy. But anyhow, it doesn't really matter what I think. So there we go. What does matter is what you think. Let me know in the comments section as to whether or not you think Fury will come back, whether or not Fury would fight KABAYEL, whether or not Fury would fight AJ, and anything about the potential of a Fury return. Would you like to see him come back? Or are you in that camp that says, you know what, you're yesterday's news, let's move on. Okay, if you like this video, please like, please subscribe. If you're a regular visitor and you haven't subscribed, please hit that little button. It's great to get subscribers. Every morning I get up and I look and I see that the numbers are going up slightly. I'm like a kid in a candy store about it. It's amazing, really. And most importantly, have a fabulous day wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.